These are the top 3 scientifically proven tips we will discuss today that will help you avoid blood sugar spikes without reducing your carb intake. Throughout the video, these healthcare professionals will guide us on how to control blood glucose spikes so that you can enjoy the life you've always wanted. As always, this video is educational and does not constitute medical advice. Let's begin with starchy foods.
For example, when I cook potatoes, I almost always cook a few extra, keep them in the fridge overnight, and then make potato salad or hash browns the next day. Same with rice.
When you eat starchy foods like potatoes, rice, or pasta immediately after cooking, their starches quickly turn into glucose in your body. This causes a lot of glucose enter your bloodstream quickly, which leads to a big spike in blood sugar levels. So how do we prevent such spikes without sacrificing starchy foods? Well, if you cook starchy foods and then cool them overnight inside a fridge, some of the starch changes into a different form, called resistant starch. It's called resistant starch because it resists digestion. Our digestive enzymes can't break it down. This traps the glucose in the starch and helps prevent a spike in blood sugar levels. The glycemic index of starchy foods that have been cooked and then cooled can be 20 to 40% lower than the same foods eaten right after cooking. In a 2022 study, scientists found that white rice cooked and then cooled for 24 hours at 4 degrees Celsius had more resistant starch and caused lower blood sugar spikes than freshly cooked white rice. When you cook starchy foods, make sure to cool them overnight before eating. This way, you can control glucose spikes without sacrificing your favorite dishes. Which brings us on to the next big problem. Many diabetes patients often experience a rise in blood sugar levels in the morning. When you wake up, your body releases hormones that raise your blood sugar and give you energy to help you start your day. That is why your sugar readings can be too high in the morning. So, how can you lower fasting blood glucose spikes in the morning? To answer this question, first you need to understand how vinegar helps with blood sugar control. According to Healthline, 4 teaspoons, 20 milliliter, of apple cider vinegar diluted in water, drink right before a high-carb meal can help lower blood sugar spikes. Several studies have shown that drinking apple cider vinegar before eating carbs can lower blood sugar levels after meals by 20%. You can also add vinegar while cooking or mix it into recipes. By adding vinegar to rice can lower its glycemic index by 35%, and adding it to baked potatoes in salad dressing can reduce the glycemic index by 43%. You can use any type of vinegar, like apple cider vinegar, white wine vinegar, rice vinegar, or cherry vinegar, which are the most recommended by experts.
And so people always want to know how to lower the blood sugar in the morning, especially. Well, very simply, you take 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before bed. And I wouldn't take it just straight. I would put it in water.
To keep your blood sugar stable in the morning, Dr. Eric Berg recommends mixing 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in 8 to 10 ounces of water and drinking it before you go to bed. This can help lower blood sugar spikes in the morning. Experts found that every time we eat carbs on their own, without anything else, they will cause a spike in glucose levels. So, how should you eat carbs so that your blood sugar won't spike? Well, you should add some clothing to your high-carb foods. So, what do we mean by that? What we mean is adding proteins, healthy fats, and fiber to your high-carb meals. Let me explain how.
Add some clothing to them, like protein, fat, and fiber, to reduce how quickly the glucose in those carbs arrives into our bloodstream.
For example, eating chocolate cake alone is not ideal. But when you eat cake with Greek yogurt or some almonds, these protein sources help reduce the sugar spikes. Similarly, adding chicken, veggies, and cheese to your pasta slows down how quickly it turns into glucose. You can mix and match these strategies, depending on your meal. But what if you have no choice but to eat carbs only? Is there any way to avoid a glucose spike when you can only eat carbs? Well, the answer is yes. In these situations, experts recommend taking a short 15-minute walk right after eating. This can help reduce glucose spikes. So, make sure you take a walk after your meal.
Do a mild walk, walking on a treadmill, walking around the block, or really anything. It's going to be helpful for lowering blood sugar and preventing diabetes.
By following these tips, you can effectively prevent blood sugar spikes without reducing your carb intake. There is one more key ingredient you must know if you want to control your blood glucose levels. This video will guide you through it, so make sure you watch it right now.